So, interesting news regarding Jake Paul. I was looking at the press conferences and I seen how they pretty much made a new belt for this fight. Uh, that's what I got to say to that. It does drive me a little crazy. It does bug me a little bit, because, not even a little bit, screw that. It bothers me a lot, because even when there was just four belts, there were still too many belts. You had the ring belt, you had the IBF belt, you had the WBC, the WBA. There was just so many belts. And now I even hear about this diamond belt, and I'm just like, guys, what are we doing? What are we doing? How do we know who is the champ? How do we know this is the actual champ? And then you know what? It's very unfortunate because then these guys can't even fight the actual champ, because it's like, oh no, he didn't beat the actual champ. He beat the WA champ. Well, he didn't beat the actual champ. He beat the WC champ. It's just so much regarding the belts, and it's just so frustrating. That's something that you got to give credit to Dana White in the UFC, because there is not all this craziness with the belts. There's just straight up one belt, one champion, welterweight champion, boom. You want to be the champion, you got to beat that guy and that guy alone. You want to be the middleweight champion, you got to beat that guy and that guy alone. That is it. It's straight up just one champ, and that's all you need. You need just one single champion. That's it. But they made another belt for this fight. Fine, whatever. You guys made a bunch of them. You might as well make more. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is the fact that WBC said that if Jake Paul wins, he will be ranked 15th. I believe he'll be at the 15th ranking uh, in the cruiserweight division. I mean, when I heard that, I literally jaw dropped. I'm like, you serious? You serious? There's guys that are fighting so long. These guys are training so long. These guys have had amateur records. These guys have pro records, and they've been doing their absolute best to get on those rankings. And yet, this guy, Jake Paul, which I give all the respect to, as far as popularity goes, as far as money goes, as far as star power goes, he's doing the right thing. Yes, 100%. He went against the MMA fighters. He went against a few other celebrities. He went and did his thing, and he's making his money. More power to him. But as far as actual professionalism, as an actual professional fighter, professional boxer, unfortunately, he is just nowhere near these guys. Nowhere near these guys. Couldn't even touch these guys. It's just these guys have been doing this since childhood. These guys have been going in the Olympics. These guys have been going in the amateurs. These guys have been going through different circuits to actually become ranked in the WBC or the WBA or the IBF, whatever you want to call it. They've been doing their absolute best to get that ranking, to get that nod. And when you have someone who has star power because he boxed MMA fighters, because he boxed a basketball player, because he boxed another YouTube guy, and because he's boxing a lower tier professional fighter in Tommy Fury, now he gets a ranking. It's like, no, I'm sorry. This guy needed to do so much more in order to get that ranking. But you know what? At the end of the day, you got to understand it, because that's what they want. They want that star power, because that's what Jake Paul brings. He brings that star power. It's not because of how good he is. Don't get me wrong. He's decent. Don't get me wrong. He is actually, for the years he's put in, he's improved. The years that he's and the fights that he's took, he's improved a lot. Sure. But if you put him in there anywhere, like you're telling me he's 5 fights away from being top 15, top 10 in the cruiserweight division, I know cruiserweights ain't the most explosive, and cruiserweights ain't the most known. Usyk was by far one of the best cruiserweights. You had Evander Holyfield as one of the cruiserweights, and then Roy Jones Jr. did his thing at cruiserweight. So, there was a few relatively known people in the cruiserweight division throughout the years. I believe even Antonio Tarver and a few other names, just to be to mention those. But still, nonetheless, it's still, you like, come on, you put him in there with some of these guys, it's just he's gonna get killed. He's gonna get killed. Like, you cannot do that. If he was he good, what if he beats and goes against Nate Diaz and goes against some other boxers like Hasim Rahman? Are you gonna continue to move him down the ranking and have him get closer to being that championship status? I mean, the guy is not gonna last 2 or 3 rounds with an actual boxing champion. And I am deeply afraid that they're going to give this guy a championship belt and say, hey, you became champion. It's like, I hope he doesn't accept that, because it's not true. It's like, literally, you're beating all these other level fighters, these MMA fighters or whatever we'll call you, and you're beating all these lower tier fighters, and They put a belt around you and you say, "Hey, I finally did it. I became champion." No, you did not. No, you did not. They made you a bounce because of your star power. You did not become champion. It's like literally playing street football, and then all of a sudden you play against one little low level team, and then all of a sudden you become Super Bowl champion. Like it don't work that way. It don't work that way. You want the real gold. You want the real strap. You want the real thing. The bounce that all these legends had. Like I said, the bounce that Evander Holyfield carried. The bounce that Roy Jones carried. The bounce that Usyk carried. The bounce that Antonio Tarver, all these other legends in the cruiserweight division. That's if the division that he's going to be facing at, and he's going to be, doing his fighting at the remaining of his career. You want that belt. That's the belt you want. You don't want just some made up belt. You don't want just some belt that they made just specifically for you. You want a belt that you have earned and blood, sweat, and tear to get. That's the belt you want, and that's the ranking you should actually get because it's the same damn thing. You want to be able to earn that ranking, not because, oh, hey, you know what? You did work hard to get that ranking, but not the way every fighter has done it. As every fighter have crawled their way to get closer to that greatness, closer to being number one. That's what should be happening. But unfortunately, this is what boxing is. This is what boxing is. This is the direction it is going. And it's hard to almost be super upset about it because at the end of the day, like I said, it all goes down to fighters not wanting to fight each other. It goes all down to the dysfunction in boxing. The way boxing has been when it comes to like organizations, when it comes to like different promoters, when different managers, when different fighters, when it comes to just so much chaos. There's no real strong structure. It almost feels like nobody's guiding the ship and it's just being pulled in different directions, and no one has a level head on anything when it comes to boxing, and it's just very unfortunate for me. Very unfortunate because boxing has always been one of my first passions, my first love before I even got into MMA, before I even got into UFC, before I got into anything. So it's just very sad to see the state of boxing in like this. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's all about popularity, and it's all about that star status that Jake Paul has. So let me know in the comments, guys, on what do you think about that? What do you think about if Jake Paul wins this fight? He is now ranked 15th in the cruiserweight division as the WBC has said. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.